All right, this is podcast episode number 3 of the Ask Ben podcast. Um, for this episode, I want to talk about a subject. Nobody submitted this question. It's just uh, a subject that I have been studying a lot recently, and mainly because I have a lot of clients who I want to help them the best that I can, and also myself. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. I've been lifting for a long time. I played football. There's a lot of pain. I'm in pain a lot. Okay, and I want to take this episode to kind of talk about how does pain really work. How you can manage it, and really, when I first heard about this subject, it was like a mind blowing thing to me because it was actually one of the most important things I ever learned because it gave me control, right? Once you understand it, it gives you control. You're no longer helpless. And that's what I think this is going to do for the listeners who stick with me. All right, this is going to be a long episode, and this is going to be a complicated subject. And I have my producer here, Royce, with me, and he's going to hopefully make sure I don't ramble too much. You know what I like best about this podcast format, Royce?
What's that?
Is that you can't see me.
I know.
Well, you can see me, but I can be as disheveled as possible, and we can do this. That I love it. I love it. So anyway, let's get into the subject. So pain science really is what I want to talk about. Okay, so Roy, let me just ask Royce. Royce, what do you know about pain science? What do you know about how does pain work? Give me what you know.
What I know, well, I just go by from how I feel. So when I train in jujitsu also, so when I go through some things when people are trying to, get moves on me or on submissions, sometimes they hurt, sometimes they don't,
Mm-hmm.
and there's times I'll just fight through it. And then if I have to train, like say I have to cut weight and run, that
Mm-hmm.
pain I hate it. Like
Right.
that's the type of pain I hate. I rather fight than actually go through running and all that crazy stuff for the internal.
Right. So more than likely, you like most people have a pretty surface level understanding of the science, right?
Mhm.
You know it's a signal, it's not good, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to get into kind of the science behind it, and hopefully by the end, you'll have a very good understanding of how to manage something like lower back pain, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people say, "Oh, I have low back pain. I need to have surgery, and that's the end," right? No, no. This is not good. Okay, that's not right. So there's many things that we can do. Okay, so before I dive into this topic, let me just start by saying that I am not a pain science expert. All right, if you just Google the term pain science, there's many experts out there that are beyond my understanding by light years, right? But what I can do is I tend to be good at kind of giving the practical knowledge to the layman, right? So I can break down complicated uh, subjects, concepts, and try to make it work for somebody who doesn't necessarily have time or interest in studying the science as a whole. Okay, so that being said, I'm not an expert on this. I'm simply rehashing, regurgitating a lot of what certain scientists like there's many, just to name a few. Lorimer Moseley wrote a book called Explain Pain. That's I would say one of the best like books for the layman on the subject. Todd Hargrove wrote a great book on topics that have pain science in there. I believe it's called Better Movement. Um, so, yeah, just given that disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. This is just my interpretation of the evidence and my experiences. Okay, so pain, what is it? Pain is basically classified as an unpleasant conscious experience, and what it's designed to do is protect you. Is what your brain does to protect you from what it perceives as a threat against your body, and it's trying to motivate you to do something about it, right?
Okay.
So that is the general term pain. Okay, it's an it's an unpleasant conscious experience. Okay, but the key in what I said in all of that is that it's designed to protect you. It is a defense mechanism. Okay, now an example I can give to immediately kind of get your mind turning is there's really no difference from your brain, how it perceives a threat, than a home alarm system, how it perceives a threat.
Hmm.
Okay, so continue with me here. I have a home alarm system. Many times that thing has gone off for no reason, and there was no burglar. It may be the door just, the gust of wind, right?
That's happened to me before.
Yeah, your house is like, gust of wind, right? Now, how does that relate to your brain? Your brain can make those mistakes too when dealing with pain. Okay, to give you a quick example, let's say you bent over and picked something up, and you got a lower back injury, right? You it hurt your back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now it heals. Maybe it doesn't heal, but time passes. More than likely, the time that's passed, your tissue, the tissues in your lower back, they will probably have healed. Okay, however, when you when you continue to experience pain, when you try to pick up that heavy object again, your brain might send the signal to your to your body saying, "Whoa, we did this last time, and it caused a lot of pain." So it might send you the same signal.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's trying to protect you against something that has happened in the past, right? It's like an artifact of the past, right? It's trying to protect you, but it's a little bit out of sync, right? Because what hurt you last time might be because you didn't sleep for like a day and you picked it up with bad form.
Yeah.
But your brain doesn't know that. It just knows that you were in this position and you got hurt. So now you have constant back pain when your back is in a certain position, right? That is now ingrained. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that what you're doing is damaging on the tissues, right? It just means that what you're doing, your brain perceives as a threat. Okay, so this is something that changed my ideas, right? I was always under the impression that if you're in pain, that means you're injured. Okay.
Yeah.
And,
So
yeah.
basically, your brain creates muscle memory of a pain, and it'll have it reoccur all the time.
Yes, I would say, yeah, it's a good analogy. I understand what you're saying. It's more like it creates like a neural imprint. Okay, so it's like it creates an imprint of what has happened in the past. And it's using that to direct its future, how it affects you in the future. Okay, so the one thing I want to make sure that is very clear is that pain is an output of the brain itself. Okay, pain does not come specifically from the tissues, right? So if you sprain your ankle, right, it is your brain that is sending you the pain signal. Okay, it is your brain that's telling you, oh, there's pain right there. Okay, there's pain. Don't turn your foot this way. It's going to cause pain, and it's your brain. Okay, it is not really your foot, right? Your foot is involved, but it's your brain. Okay, and the second thing that is very important is not to confuse pain with tissue damage. Okay, and this is what we kind of talked about before we started recording, which was like a soldier, right? A soldier in the battlefield. Okay, let's say I'm a soldier in the battlefield, and you're down, and I need to rescue you. Okay, I can't. I have to get to you, and I have to make sure that get you to safety. During the process, I'm running, I'm stepping on stuff, and I'm maybe I got shot in a non-vital part. Maybe I twisted my ankle. All these injuries happened, but I didn't feel any of them. Okay, there's massive tissue damage, right? If I got shot, there's massive tissue damage, but there was no pain, right? Why? Because there was something more urgent. One, my life is in danger. Two, your life is in danger. Okay, so those things can override pain signals. Okay, you with me so far?
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like your adrenaline.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything.
Adrenaline is a good way to put it. Adrenaline is a hormone that may be able to override the pain mechanism. So now let's take that in reverse. Okay, so if we take that in reverse, we can kind of get a good understanding of it, the opposite, right? So let's say there is so in this situation, right, with the soldier, there's massive tissue damage, right? I got shot, but I don't feel pain. Okay. Now, if that's possible, then what's also possible is the reverse. There's no tissue damage, but I feel massive pain. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how does that happen, right? How do you feel? There's no damage. What's going on? Well, your brain is very complicated. Okay. There's environmental factors. There's genetics. There's stress. You know, people don't understand that stress is actually one of the biggest causes of pain. All right. I can tell you right now, anecdotally, just my personal experience. I have, tendinitis in certain joints. When I'm stressed out, that tendinitis is way worse. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
It's way worse. Okay. This inflammation goes up. There's a lot of things that are happening. Okay. Now, where this gets kind of serious is people confusing pain with tissue damage. Okay. One thing that was super shocking to me was I think this is a study where they kind of took a sample size of people who were just walking on the street, and don't quote me on the study. I it's something that I might have heard secondhand. And they took people off the street, and they X-rayed them and gave them MRIs, and they asked them, do you feel lower back pain? Okay, and however many of them, doesn't matter. Okay,
Yeah.
but what they did find the correlation was this. Many people who had herniations, bulged discs, tissue damage, they had, scoliosis, misalignments, things like that, experienced no pain. They were perfectly healthy on the pain scale. And then there were people out there who had no herniations, it's like a pretty good image of a lower back or a spine, and they were in massive pain, right? So that's that's alarming to me, because that means that there are people out there who probably just need to change their mindset or be educated on
more
this.
mental.
Yeah, mental. It's just education, really, right? And I want to. Of course, we're going to touch on the myths later, but certain things like, your core is weak, and so now you're in back pain. These are all, for the most part, they're all myths. Okay, we'll touch on that later. But what I want to make sure is cemented now is that tissue damage does not equal pain. Okay, that's pretty much been established, right? We gave the examples.
Yes.
Right. Let's see. Let me see. Another example would be, it can even go as far as I heard a good example one time about an experience, right? How an experience can affect your emotional state and things like that.
Yeah.
You ever been in a haunted house?
Yeah, I've been in one of those.
I hate those things, by the way. But I have been in one. Were you scared?
No.
Okay, then you're all right. You weren't scared. I was terrified. Okay, so let's say you're a normal person. So I was scared. Okay, there was things popping out. Most people are scared. Okay, you're not normal, I guess. But
no, it's just when you walk in,
I get what you're
expecting
saying.
Everything already.
I get what you're saying. Okay, let's just say most people that enter a haunted house, they get the real sensation of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get goosebumps. Things are popping out. But is it real? No, it's not real. But is the sensation real?
Yeah.
Yes, right? So that's a good example of how pain can affect your body, right? It's not real. You're not getting hurt, right? You're not getting hurt, but the emotion and the sensation you feel, it's changing how your body's reacting to it, right? There's a famous study where let me try to make sure I do this one right. They had a study where subjects put their hand in under a cloth. Right, they stuck it through like a box,
Okay.
and they covered the hand up. Okay, and then they showed on a screen a hand going through a box. Okay, what the test subjects didn't know was that hand was not their hand on the screen. Right, it was a rubber hand or fake hand or recording, and but what does the test subject think? They think, oh, that's my hand.
Yeah.
Right? So they were doing things to the hand on the screen, like tickling it, maybe poking it. And people in the test subject in the room was experiencing those sensations, even though that's not even their hand.
Wow.
So what does that tell you? It tells you that the brain is capable of tricking you. Okay,
being easily fooled.
Fooled, exactly. So you cannot rely on pain as a trigger for, oh, I'm hurt. Okay, that's just not right. Okay, pain is a trigger for, okay, something's happening and I need to probably do something to fix it, but that doesn't mean that you're hurt. Okay, what you need to fix could be an emotional state. What you need to fix could be an attitude. It could be whatever. It could just be, you're unhappy with something, right? It's very, very complicated, and this is why this subject's going to take a long time to delve into.
Yeah, because you're talking about the mind.
Yeah,
and you almost kind of remind me of the subject they have about not musicians, but magicians.
Yeah,
like how they
exactly.
trick the mind, and people believe what they see, and it's not even there. So.
Yeah, one of my people that I consider a mentor, Nick Tumanillo, he once said something to me, or not to me, but in a conference that I heard that was great, and he said something like, "Have you ever been to a magic show?" And I was people in the audience were like, "Yeah, we've been to a magic show." And did you think it was real? No, it's not real. It's a magic show. But did it look real? Yeah, it looked real.
Yeah.
So that's one way to kind of trick the mind, right? I'm baffled by how certain magic tricks work. I know it's a trick, but I cannot understand how they did it, right? Yeah. Same thing with pain, right?
Yeah, this is crazy because I know some people that train in fighting. They go through like body hardening and weird stuff, like people smashing their face so they don't think about the pain no more.
Yeah.
And when they go into fights, like, people try those things to them and it doesn't faze them.
That's probably legitimate, right? Because if you've that's this form of mental training, pretty much.
Yes.
It's not really you're hardening anything. You're just hardening your nervous system, actually, right? So we already went through the soldier example. Do you remember when John Jones, we're talking about UFC, fought Chael Sonnen?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he, at the end, when Joe Rogan interviewed him and he had a broken toe? It looked terrible.
Yeah,
His toe was falling out of his foot. So he didn't know, right? He looked down. He was like, "Whoa, I have a broken toe." Why didn't he notice? Because he was in a MMA fight.
Yeah, he was focused.
Yeah, he's not worrying about a broken toe. He's worrying about basically trying to kill this guy or trying to beat him up severely. So he didn't notice his broken toe, right? So one other example of the tissue damage not equating to pain.
Yeah.
Right. So all right, let's get to. By the way, let me just go to the flip side of that. Okay, so the flip side of that is something rather innocuous, right? Something that doesn't really have that big of an effect might happen, and then your brain might perceive it as a huge threat, right? So, for example, I might roll my ankle, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I'm not going to say for certain, but a lot of times when I roll my ankle, I've rolled my ankle probably 50 times. A lot of times when I roll it, I'm almost certain that I'm not really rolling it like I'm causing damage, but it's because I've rolled my ankle 50 times already. So now when my ankle even gets close to getting rolled, my brain is sending the signal, all right, send the alarm. This guy's foot's about to be swollen. Get the ice ready. It's just a process, right? So, previous injury is a great indicator of future injury. Just from that alone, it's just your brain has ingrained these defense mechanisms that no matter what happens, it's going to happen again, even if you get close.
Yeah, I had this talk with a boxer once because there's a few fighters that used to have an iron chin, and then some of them got knocked out 2 or 3 times, and then by the time they fight somebody that's when on their days that they're going to be out the fight game, but they're barely fighting somebody that's not at their skill level and they barely hit them on the chin.
Yeah.
It seems like the brain just snaps them into that knockout to protect them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that, but that's a really good point, and that's probably exactly what's going on. It's not really pain related, what you're talking about, but it's related to the brain.
Yeah.
The brain might be saying, okay, last time I got hit, it hurt really bad, I got damaged, and then I got knocked out. So this time, you know what? Before we even get to that big punch, let's just send your lights out with a small punch, right? Like Chuck Liddell later in his career, he was eating punches, earlier in his career. Later in his career, he got tapped and he was out. One tap on the chin, he's unconscious.
To me, like you said, from pain to the mental part of it, um, that all ties in together, even with the knockouts.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I want to get to the practical things soon, but I'll say this. One of the common objections that I hear when I talk to people, even friends in the fitness industry about this, is that they're kind of almost like offended. They're like, oh, you're telling me that pain's not real. It's all in my head. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying pain is very real. Okay, it's a very real experience, but that's exactly what it is. It's a personal experience, right? So what causes me to be in pain may not cause you to be in pain, right? So it's a personal experience.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, the research behind it anyway is that the more you know about how pain works, the more you know about how just it's education, right? The more you know, the less it will affect you. I had severe back pain for years, and then I started educating myself on the science behind it and how to what actually works and what doesn't, and just the education alone I felt was the most beneficial. Okay. Yeah. So one, we already talked about the herniated disc example, right? So if I asked you, Royce, after what I've said, let's say you have a herniated disc, right?
Yeah.
Is it possibility that you have a herniated disc and you experience no pain?
Really possible.
Yes, absolutely, right? Completely possible, right? Because pain does not equal tissue damage. Okay. Now, there's obviously limitations to this, right? There's like if I were to, if you were to put my hand right here and you pull out a pencil and stab me through the hand, right? Or pen, stab me through the hand. Am I going to feel pain? I'm gonna bet my money that yes, I will feel pain because we're in a cushy, office with air conditioning, right? Now, I put my hand out and whatever. I'm in the middle of a war now, and I put my hand out and you stab me through the hand with a pen. Will I feel it? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not.
You'll probably ignore it.
I might ignore it because there might be sniper fire coming. So that's just a last example, just cementing that that right there, right? So so far this is making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense because there's certain people out there that I'm going back to fight game, like when they watch women fight and they're boxing and they're beating each other up, and you see people like, man, how can they take that punishment? But they already have the mindset to not respect that type of punch for them to be like, oh, I need to stop. They'll keep going and going until, like you said, for certain fighters, until it really hits them on the chin. But we like people in the fight game, we kind of understand like that's nothing compared to what really could happen.
Right. Yeah. So that might be why when you're in a MMA, I've never done a pro MMA fight. I've been in some amateur stuff, but I don't remember feeling any punches. Yeah, I got punched many times, and I didn't feel any of them. Afterwards, my face was swollen and whatnot, but I never felt a thing during the actual competition. Why? Because other things probably at that time were more important to me, like winning, like my family is here. I don't want to get embarrassed in front of my girlfriend. There's other things in my head that take over the pain. Pain is not the most important. I think maybe embarrassment was the most important. Who knows what it was? Okay, or maybe just fear. Maybe it's anger, whatever it is, right? Something was overriding the pain.
Mostly we're going back to the mind. Like, so if you have a strong mental state, you could get through pain.
Yes, absolutely. You may never feel pain if your brain is, you train your brain to just do that kind of stuff, right? Let me see here. So I want to get to the practical stuff now. So how knowing this is good. It's many times it's enough, but I haven't given any like practical advice, right? So if you know this, what can you do? Okay. Well, by knowing that tissue damage and pain are not causes of each other, right? We talked about the soldier. Pain is not always related to tissue damage. It can be, and that pain, but many times it's not. Pain is a construct of the mind, so it's something that your mind creates to protect you. One other example I wanted to give was, how many times have you woken up or the next day when you wake up, you have like a bruise that you don't know how you got the bruise.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that.
Many times, right? My fiance gets that all the time. I think she's like banging something at night, banging the floorboard. I don't know what she's doing, but she gets these bruises, and she wakes up. I don't know how I got the bruises. And, well, you did unconsciously. Did you feel anything? No. Well, because at that time more important things were going on, like you're probably asleep. So she didn't feel the pain, but there was tissue damage, right?
Yeah.
Exact same example as the soldier at war. Okay, so now that we've established pain is a construct of the mind, what helps? Well, what I've found to help is things like, let's just talk about lower back pain, for example.
Okay.
Right. Number one, education. Okay, understanding how pain works. Right. Number two, rhythmic breathing. Controlling your breath, things like that. What does breathing do? It can promote autonomic nervous system function. It can kind of relax your muscles that are tense, right?
Okay.
Tense muscles tend to you know tend to cause pain, right? If you're tensing up all the time, you might be sending signals that, oh, okay, it's time to send the alarms, pain's coming. So breathing, there's certain things that you can look up, on the internet, PRI. There's like 90-90 breathing. There's it's just simply the method that I use is just simply breathing in 5 seconds, 5 count in, holding your breath for about 7 count, counting to 7, and then breathing out for 8 seconds. 8 count, sorry. So 5 count in, 7 count hold, and 8 count breathe out. Okay, and as I'm doing this, I'm focusing on relaxing the area that I have pain in. So right now I have a little stiff lower back. I've been training a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So once I do that, I'm consciously thinking in my head to try to relax that area. Okay, relax. Don't send the signals, right? Telling my brain. Okay, so breathing. What did I say? Breathing, education, and then movement. Okay, so movement is huge. Okay, movement is basically like what I relate movement to is like unlocking a door.
Okay.
Okay, so say if you sit in a chair all day and you don't move. Okay, your brain may become, this is a little unscientific now, but your brain may become unfamiliar with certain movements, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it's a new or novel movement that your body's not used to, it might cause pain because it's trying to protect you, right? The body is the best at creating homeostasis. It doesn't want to change. Okay, it wants to keep the things the way they are, right?
Yes.
This is why people have a hard time losing weight. Okay, it's just hard. Your body will find ways to get you back. Okay, so one of the best ways to manage pain, like lower back pain, for example, is to exercise, is to move, right? When you move, do yoga. Why does yoga work for pain? Because it's a movement. You're doing 2 out of the 3 things I just mentioned: breathing, rhythmic breathing, and moving. Okay,
Yes.
so you're moving your joint through that range of motion, right? That you haven't done so in a while, right? So that's going to create relief.
What about posture?
So posture is one of those things that actually have no correlation to pain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Example: somebody could have the absolute worst posture. Okay, you look at them and they look like a melting candle or a folded whatever, and they have no pain. Okay. At the same time, I know people with extremely good posture that are in extreme pain. And I can tell you right now that I was one of those people. Right? I used to stand up straight to the point. Excuse me. I used to stand up straight to the point where people would compliment me. They'd be like, "Yeah, you stand up so straight." What they didn't know is I was putting my back into extension so much that anytime my back went into flexion, I would feel extreme pain. Right? So its posture has zero to do with pain itself. I'm not saying posture is not important. Posture is very important for generating force. There's spinal alignment. There's a lot of stuff athletics, that's posture is super important. But we do jujitsu, right? I'm
Yeah.
black belt, you're purple belt. We do jujitsu. Posture in jujitsu is like everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about that kind of posture. We're talking about, does posture affect pain? And I will say that focusing on your posture can actually be a pain trigger.
Okay.
So like if I spend all day, if you look at me over here, I'm constantly like sitting up straight right now. If
Yeah.
I stay like this for like an hour, okay, it's probably more likely that I'll be in pain than I'll mitigate pain.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
It's
You know what I'm
almost
saying?
like like if you're exercising, you're holding a position and you start burning more.
Yeah. So as far as I know, posture and pain have no correlation.
Okay.
Okay. So when somebody says, "Oh, you have lower back pain because your posture sucks," that they don't understand the science. Okay.
Right.
They're maybe they're trying to be helpful, but they're a little old school. I'd say that's
Yeah,
very
because I heard
old.
that a lot.
That's wrong. It's very unlikely that that's sound advice. Okay. Another one that's similar is like when you have lower back pain. One of the myths that in fitness that kind of has been perpetuated for a very long time is, oh, you have lower back pain, you have a weak core. Okay,
I've heard that.
you've heard that. Okay, let me just kill this myth with just one example, and then we can we don't even need to really talk too much about it. But think about I've trained a lot of NFL players. Okay, think about an NFL player. Do you think they have a weak core?
No.
No way, right? They're absolutely not. I'd say of the ones that I've trained, 1 in 3 NFL players have come to me at some point, at least the ones that I've trained, and they've told me they have lower back pain. Okay, so just using that evidence, that should already kill that myth, right?
Yeah.
There's no way somebody like whatever. Just give an example. Reggie Bush, he has a weak core. I mean, just look at his core.
Yeah.
Okay, I used to work at Unbreakable training center, and Reggie Bush was there one day, and he was complaining about lower back pain. Okay, you telling me Reggie Bush could possibly have a weak core? Absolutely not. Okay, so this is the problem, because many times even people with extensive medical expertise, doctors, tell my clients, you need to strengthen your core. Tell your trainer he needs to strengthen your core. And they come back to me after visiting their doctor, and I'm like, oh God, you're going to a doctor that doesn't understand.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't understand. So they're so this is a quote actually from a book that I read recently. I hope I don't butcher this guy's name. He's a physical therapist, PhD, somebody I would consider a pain science expert. Adrian Lowe, I believe is his last name. Adrian Lowe. He wrote a great book. He has several great books, actually. Just go on Amazon. All his stuff is great. But he has a quote in there that says, core exercises. So we're talking about core exercises, like is a weak core, causing back pain, that myth. Core exercises are not about strength. They're about getting muscles to work in a proper sequence. Okay. So that's what really you should be focusing on. And core exercises have never been shown to prevent back pain. And when he says they've never been shown to prevent back pain, I'm not talking about your grandma told you something that your friend told you last week. Okay, I'm talking about scientific data. I'm talking about, is this primary research? Is this something I could pull up on PubMed or a journal or something like that? So yeah, no, I've never seen evidence. If any listeners want to send me evidence that says core exercises prevent back pain, and it's a scientific study, right, peer reviewed, send them, because I've never seen them, and I am open to changing my opinion as well. So core exercise, last one. Core exercises have not been shown to be superior to any other exercise for the treatment of back pain, low back pain. Okay, so if I do core exercises, there's no different from me doing curls, right?
Yeah.
For lower back pain. At least the that's what the research is saying right now. Okay, so just doing some curls might actually be the same. So so it's really exercise in general, and not like specific things like core exercise. So that's pretty much a good summary, I hope, of this. And just a couple things I want to leave everybody with is, just to be confident. Be confident that your body is strong. Okay, the human body is very adaptable, very pliable. It adapts to situations much better than we think. Right, our spine, for example, is designed to be very, very strong. It's designed to allow us to lift heavy loads, walk long distances for food and water. It's held together by large ligaments. So even if you do imaging right on your spine, you go to the doctor and they X-ray it, and there's noticeable bulges and maybe even a herniation, other signs of inflammation. Just understand that just like an ankle sprain, a disc can heal. Right? If you have a bulged disc, see people think a lot. Oh, you have a bulged disc, will never heal. No,
our body does amazing things.
Yeah, it can heal, and also remember that you might have a bulged disc and you might experience no pain. There's people out there that experience no pain. So why not you? Why can't you experience no pain? Right? So it's just about education. Or a lot of times, actually, for those that experience no pain, it might actually be ignorance. They just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Royce, any? So this is not a question that was submitted. This was something that I just wanted to talk about because it's fresh in my head right now. So I am personal trainer. That's kind of like my profession, strength and conditioning coach. So I want to always be talking to trainers as well. And the last thing I'll say is just for if you are a personal trainer, a strength and conditioning coach, whatever, movement coach, whatever you want to call yourself, okay, remember that you have a responsibility as a trainer to not cause pain in your clients, as in like a placebo, right? A placebo is a positive effect based on a stimulus, right? Like I give you I tell you, Royce, you're amazing. You're great at this. Okay, then you get a positive emotion, and I could say, Royce, you suck. You're terrible.
And then you start feeling bad.
Yeah, you start feeling bad. Exactly. How this relates to personal training and coaches is that, let's say my client does a deadlift, right? But their form isn't great, right? They're just starting out. Their deadlift form wasn't great. Okay, I have two ways to say this, right? I could say, hey, Mary, your deadlift. So the positive thing would be, hey, Mary, your deadlift. Let's keep working on the form. Everything looks okay. Let's straighten out that back a little bit. Let's push off the floor a little harder. Give them some external cues. Stay positive. And just say, let's just keep improving, and everything's good. So far, so good, right? That's a positive message.
Yes.
Right. That's what I would say. Versus, and I've seen other trainers do this, and I may even have been guilty of this in the past, is I could say, for the negative way to say that, which could cause pain, would be, Mary, oh my God, I can't believe you just did a deadlift like that. I don't know what you're thinking. You can herniate your discs. You could be in back pain. I'm surprised you're not in back pain right now. I'm surprised you're not hurting. Are you hurt? Are you hurt? Did that hurt you? These are things that I want to avoid.
Yeah.
Right. Coaching from the negative, right? Because as a trainer, you're an expert, right? So what I might have done to my imaginary client, Mary, is that in that second example, she might go home and say, "Oh my God, Ben, my trainer said I've been deadlifting wrong, but I've been doing that for years. Oh, no wonder. Oh, I guess he's right. I am in pain." Right? And then boom, next thing you know, you've just created a cycle. It's called a nocebo. Okay, nocebo is a stimulus that creates a negative effect. Right? I give you a pill.
Yeah.
And it's I tell you this pill is poison. Right? You might just feel sick to your stomach, but it was actually a sugar pill. Right? It's not supposed to have an effect, but it does because that's the phenomenon that humans experience.
The mind and the illusion.
Mind. Exactly. This is the magic trick, right? This is the magic trick, right? Same thing. I give you a pill. It's a sugar pill, but I tell you it's the best thing in the world. You're gonna feel super happy as long as you believe me. As long as your mind can make that, can accept it. You'll probably have some benefits, right? So why coach from the negative and say, you're going to be hurt if you do that? Instead, say something, this is for coaches, to say something like, there's room for improvement, but so far so good. This is, we're on the right track. We're going to get better and better, and it's all good, right? That's kind of how I would coach, all right? So let me just take a look and see if there's anything else we need to cover. But I think for the most part we covered all the topics I wanted to cover about pain. This can you know hopefully benefit anybody. People that do jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
If you think, I'm inverting a lot. Inverting is like when you go upside down, and you try to fight somebody upside down. It's in jujitsu. I've been inverting a lot. That's why I have all this back pain. That might not be the best way to look at it. You might want to think something like, inverting has caused my muscles to be a little tense in my lower back. I need to take some time off, breathe. Nothing's hurt, nothing's wrong. Just a little discomfort right now, and I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna do some heat. I'm gonna do some things to alleviate the temporary pain. And but I'm not hurt. Okay? I'm not injured. Okay, versus saying, I'm injured. I'm hurt. I have herniated disc, even though you don't even know, right? So that's something that somebody in jiu-jitsu could benefit from. Somebody we talked about how trainers could benefit from this knowledge. Just a general population, somebody in the general population could use this for like the lower back pain example, right? Know that if you have lower back pain right now, and the research says that 80% of people at some point in their life will have lower back pain. So 8 out of 10 people have lower back pain right now. So let's say you're one of those people, right? Understand that you're not injured. You may not be injured. You could be, but let's just say you're not. Okay. As soon as you understand how pain works, then you'll understand. You'll stick to the 3 practical things I gave, right? Education, which is just listening to this is education. 2, movement, right? Moving around. Breathing, just rhythmic breathing, controlling your breath. That tends to create good nervous system changes. And 3 is movement, right? Movement can be exercise, it could be yoga, it could be just getting up off of your desk every 30 minutes to go use the restroom, taking the stairs, taking the bus instead of driving. There's just a lot of things you can do. So anyway, I know that was pretty long. Royce, you got anything?
No, you pretty much covered it. We'll probably have to come back to it again because I know there's probably going to be another question, but I liked what I heard, and you answered most of the things for me.
Okay, cool. Well, that was long-winded. Once again, if you guys have any questions, please send them to my